Good morning. It is Thursday, November 6th. I'm Whitney Turner. Thanks for joining us for Catch Up Quick, WVLT's daily fastcast, airing 10:30 in the morning, Mondays through Fridays. Right now, a new report says nearly 5 million food stamp recipients will not get any benefits in November. The Department of Agriculture said that it would issue partial benefits this month by tapping into the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program's contingency fund after 2 federal judges said the agency was required to do so. The reason those 5 million likely won't get SNAP aid is that some families make too much money to receive partial benefits. The courts also gave the USDA the option of shifting other money to SNAP to enable it to pay full benefits in November, but the agency declined, citing risks to other nutrition programs. Meanwhile, happening today, there will be a court hearing in Rhode Island to talk about providing more SNAP benefits for those impacted by the government shutdown. Today's hearing is on a new legal challenge, and a ruling could force the USDA to provide full benefits. In the meantime, here in East Tennessee, food banks are getting a little help from the state. The governor approved $5 million for food banks. Second Harvest says this money will help them buy thousands of pounds of food, but they are worried about how long the funds will last, especially with the holiday season starting. About 120,000 families rely on SNAP in East Tennessee. Second Harvest serves 18 counties in the area. Some pet owners feeling the pinch of the lost SNAP benefits as well. The Royal Bark Social Club on Baxter Avenue is hosting a pet food drive right now. They're asking for dog and cat food, wet and dry. If that doesn't work, you can also donate money. The food drive runs through November 18th. And you're running out of time to donate for Carm's Coats for the Cold Drive. They're looking for new or gently used coats, but there's high demand for extra large and children's sizes. You can drop them off at any Carm store or Prestige Cleaners location. Carm says right now they've gotten a little over 3,000 donations this year, about a third of what they got last year. So they still need a lot more. You can only make that donation through tomorrow. A student in Cocke County High School has been charged with threats of mass violence. The sheriff's office says the school was told about a bomb threat Wednesday morning. Students and staff were evacuated. Officers searched the school, didn't find anything. Deputies say a 17-year-old was arrested. He is in custody at Knox County's Juvenile Detention Center. And a man was charged after hitting a cat bus near downtown Knoxville. KPD says Jackie Baker was driving down Locust Street the wrong way when he hit the bus and another car head on. He's charged with leaving the scene of an accident and driving on a suspended license. The city of Luttrell being sued. An environmental group claims they're illegally dumping polluted water into Fall Creek. Tennessee Riverkeeper filed the lawsuit in federal court. It claims the city is violating a permit that limits how many pollutants can be dumped into the creek. Well, the group says this is impacting Tennessee rivers. The lawsuit's asking for the city of Luttrell to be fined, as well as an injunction to stop the alleged illegal dumping. We reached out to city leaders, but they declined to comment. A Tennessee teacher's own education level could be changing if Tennessee House Speaker Cameron Sexton gets what he wants. Right now, all teachers must have a bachelor's degree, but Speaker Cameron Sexton says he sees no problem if there's an associate's degree or junior college program for teachers to work with kindergarten through 5th graders.
We've had people successful in tennis in America who graduated high school and all the way up to getting a PhD. Whether or not what degree you have doesn't define your success.
The professional educators of Tennessee feel this would not help our schools.
I don't think we want to take a step back as a state and put somebody with just an AA degree teaching their kids. We want the best and brightest in our K-5 system to teach in their schools.
Governor Bill Lee signed the Teacher Paycheck Protection Act, raising the minimum teacher salary to $50 grand starting next year. We asked Speaker Sexton if those associates or junior college degrees would get this salary. Speaker Sexton says that's a question he'd like to address when it comes to the program. He says he's working with junior college and other schools to see how it would work.
Your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Kyle Granger.
And I am issuing a WVLT First Alert weather day because of some strong storms that come in overnight Friday into Saturday. And when I say overnight, I'm talking about when some of you may still be at some of those high school football games. So I want you to be alert that we could have some issues rolling in. So let me walk you through what I expect here over the next couple of days. So we're going to start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll have a couple of spotty showers that start to fire up here. Moving forward into the rest of the evening hours, here's 11 o'clock. Starting to see some of those heavy downpours move through, like Gatlinburg to Knoxville, Maryville, those reds, Oliver Springs, over to Lenore City, back into parts of Kingston. That's where we could have some of the heavier damaging winds, thunder, lightning, not out of the question. And even right on into the early morning hours, 1 o'clock in the morning, rumbles of thunder, Gatlinburg. That pulls on out of here for the start of Saturday, leaving us some clouds, and then we'll have more showers that develop into the evening hours. So here's what we're expecting here with that severe storm risk. We're at that level 1, but just because it's in the overnight hours, many of you are going to be out and about on your Friday night. That's why I wanted to go ahead and issue this alert day so you know exactly what we're expecting here, with that primary threat being those strong winds that are with us into the evening hours. We're talking about 25, 40 mile per hour gust at times. So we're going to watch this very closely here. Of course, some hail not out of the question. We had some earlier last weekend with a storm over in Seymour. So let's break it down for you over the next couple of days. We'll start with today, which is an absolutely gorgeous afternoon across East Tennessee. Those of you out and about, have your lunch plans. Yes, it's cool now. It's warm in the afternoon, lots of sunshine. And in fact, we get up to 68 this afternoon in Knoxville, Pigeon Forge. In your neighborhoods, how about 67 for Sweetwater to 71 Etowah? Tellico Plains, 68 Spring City to 66 in Crossville, 65 Jamestown, 65 in Jellicoe, and off to the east we go, Morristown at 64 to 68 Newport and Hartford. This evening, I invite you out to join me in Gatlinburg for the Chili Cook-Off and Winter Magic Celebration, turning on the millions of holiday lights for Winterfest. We'll have that countdown around 6:05 here on WVLT, and then looking at 8 o'clock tonight, you might be wanting some chili to warm up at 51. That live music will be a free event tonight. You pay, of course, to eat. 46 is where we are for the start of the day tomorrow. Boy, it sure would be different if we were in the 60s now. Clear and cold is where we are for the start of our Friday, and that's when we have that first alert weather day. It's calm and clear for the start of Friday. It's the afternoon. We'll start to increase the winds, increase the clouds, and again, overnight and into the evening hours, that's when some of you will have to deal with some of those storms. Maybe you're out and about. So we'll keep you up to date on that, especially from parts of the Plateau, Cumberland County. AM early storms, and then we have some evening storms that start to arrive. Scattered showers for our Sunday. Notice the difference here. Big cool down is ahead. Freeze alerts for you on Monday and Tuesday mornings. I know on Tuesday a lot of you will head out at 11 a.m. for those Veterans Day services, so make sure you're planning ahead to have a couple of layers on so you stay warm.
All right, Kyle, thanks so much.
Reality is this rocked our community. Louisville looked apocalyptic last night.
Search and rescue now shifting to recovery operations, according to Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, after a horrific plane crash in Louisville. 12 people are dead, including one child, and the death toll is expected to rise, with a handful of people unaccounted for. All of this after a UPS cargo plane exploded during takeoff at the Muhammad Ali Airport in Louisville. We've been covering the story for you since Tuesday. Investigators say the plane was on its way to Hawaii when the left wing caught fire and exploded. You can see the burn marks left on the runway on your screen. The plane then hit nearby buildings, leaving behind flames and debris. Officials are calling the scene violent.
What this scene is violent. Where the plane hit, at best, is destroyed. What you see are mangled remnants of what was in its path, completely burnt and blackened.
One of the buildings in the path was a recycling business. The CEO says 3 of his employees are still missing, and they have to figure out how to move forward.
And right now, there's no question that our back's up against the wall. There's no question that, as I said earlier, this business was a business that provided families that worked for us a living and provided customers a living every day. And that business is not in existence today. So we now have to figure out what that means and how do we do our very best to make the best of a horrific situation. So I don't know.
NTSB officials are on the ground in Louisville. They have recovered the black boxes that store flight data and cockpit voice recordings. We know 15 people are in the hospital after this crash. They're being treated for severe burns and blast injuries. Because of the government shutdown happening right now, the FAA announced it will be reducing air traffic control by 10% across 40 busy airports, including one here in Tennessee in Memphis, to make sure everyone is safe. The FAA said the shutdown is causing pressure on their staff, and it's not going to wait for something to go wrong before they act. So the head of the FAA and the Transportation Secretary are meeting with airlines to figure out how to implement the reduction of air traffic. And reducing air traffic could bring delays as airports across the country are preparing for the upcoming holiday travel season. So what do you do if your trip is impacted? Well, last year, the Department of Transportation launched a list of rules that protect passengers. Airlines must automatically issue a full refund if your flight is canceled or significantly changed. That's 3 hours for domestic flights and 6 hours for international flights. Here's what experts recommend to travel to avoid these travel headaches.
It's more important than ever to book that first flight of the day and a direct flight if you can.
If your flight is significantly delayed or canceled, you can ask the airline to give you meal vouchers or cover the cost to stay in a hotel, but they're not required to do that. Airlines have 7 business days to reimburse you on a credit card or 20 days for other payment methods. WVLT is proud to be your official station of the Vols. It is back to work for the Tennessee football team during the off week. The focus now turns to New Mexico State, Florida, and Vanderbilt to finish out the season strong. As we get closer and closer toward the end of the season, head coach Josh Heupel was asked about the balancing act coaches have to face when it comes to recruiting, player development, and roster management.
Yeah, I think wherever your feet are and what's important at that moment is what you got to be doing. So the development of our current players, our preparation of the opponent that we're playing. You know, for me, at times, the projection of the following year in all departments you're looking at. So it's a combination of all those things. December has changed a little bit on the calendar as well. That gives you a little bit more time potentially in December as well.
Homecoming is next weekend against New Mexico State. Kickoff is at 4:15 inside Neyland. And plenty of tickets are still available for Tennessee's baseball orange and white game coming up on Sunday at Covenant Health Park in downtown. The intra-squad scrimmage will be the first time we see the team in action under new head coach Josh Elander. First pitch is at 5 o'clock. And one of Gatlinburg's holiday traditions returns bigger and brighter than ever today. It's the annual Winter Magic Kickoff and Chili Cook-Off. The event is from 5 to 9 o'clock this evening. The Parkway is going to be closed because of this event, so heads up. Winter Magic, which features more than 1 million lights that transforms downtown Gatlinburg, begins as well. We're going to have live coverage of the Winter Magic lights at 6 o'clock right here in your WVLT News App. And check this out, Ober is getting ready for snow tubing season. The groomers are out this weekend starting to spread snow on the tubing hill. November 22nd is opening day. They say they've also been able to make snow for the past 2 weeks to start preparing the slopes for an early opening for skiing. Parts of the mountain are expected to be open. Tickets for tubing and the winter season ski passes are on sale online. Knoxville is getting into the Christmas spirit. The city has released its schedule for the annual Christmas in the City, featuring all sorts of free events where you can see the lights, get some treats, and even meet Santa. There is a return of Christmas classics, the Market Square Ice Rink opening this month, and there's going to be the WIVK Christmas Parade. We've got the full schedule for you inside your WVLT News app.
We the People, celebrating 250 years of America. Sponsored by Garza Law Firm.
Our year-long celebration of America's 250th anniversary includes interesting facts about Tennessee and our country. On this date in 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected president of the United States. He won with only 40% of the popular vote, but easily defeated 3 other candidates. The Kentucky-born lawyer was the first Republican elected to the nation's highest office. Lincoln is remembered for preserving the Union and bringing an end to slavery. You can visit his presidential library and museum in Springfield, Illinois. Thank you for joining us. Remember, you can stay up to date on WVLT.tv, inside your WVLT News app, and on WVLT social media pages. We're going to be right back here with your top headlines at noon.